friends, Julie here, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. I've been in my studio today getting ready for our retreat next weekend and also prepping for our creative day tomorrow. It's been pretty hot and humid today. I've got the aircon on and I'm still managing to be productive, and that's my lifesaver out here in my studio. It gets pretty hot. So today I'm going to show you the quick and easy make and take project that I put together before I left last week. I've just been away for a week, just got back yesterday, and getting stuck into just planning for the events that are coming up. Most of you know I love using scrap papers and creating little projects. This is no exception. I had the idea in mind of this little project and just ran with it just before we left last week. So let's jump into the video and take a closer look at all the materials I used and how I put it all together. So I've already got the scrap papers you can see in front of me. They are 12 by 12s and they're very thin papers. They're not the sort of papers I'm going to be using in scrapbook layouts or anything like that, or they're perfect for make and take projects. And so I just obviously create the project, but then I take the supplies to the creative days, and so these sort of papers do come in handy because they need to go around sometimes quite a few ladies, you know, up to 12 to 15 sometimes do the make and take. So I always just don't need small amounts of paper. I sometimes need 12 by 12. So what we're going to be making today, or at the creative day, and what I'm showing you today is this little notebook. I know they can see in the video. I'll try and hold it up, but it's just a little notebook using the scrap papers, and it's got a little Velcro, like I guess clasp here. And I've also just added some planner stickers in there. So the planner stickers I've used are just the Kmart ones, and they are to-do lists, write it down, don't forget, and things like that. I just thought it would be, you know, you could pop this in your bag and carry it around with you and just jot notes down. Or the thing with this little book, and I'm going to try and make a different size today. You can make any size you want, really. I don't think there's any right way or wrong way, right size or wrong size to make. I'm going to, I probably will stick to this size, but then I might try and make a smaller one. I'm thinking more of a longer one. And I think some of them would be good for goals, or you know, being like a little gratitude book and things like that. So you don't need to have the planner stickers in there. You can have sort of other stickers depending on what theme you might want it to be. But I had these, and they'll be enough for everyone at the creative day, I'm hoping anyway, to go around. And the reason I did end up using the planner stickers is some of the papers that I used, they're a bit dark and they're not that easy to write on or to jot anything down on. So obviously I needed to add something a little bit lighter to you know, so you can write things down and add notes and things like that. And yeah, so it's just decorated with paper and washi. This little sticker here, take notice, from this little pad here, and I've just stapled it together and added a charm and another embellishment. But you could sew it together as well, or how else could you get together? I've used staples in this one, but you could sew it, or yeah, just tie it together with string or things like that. So I guess there's a few ways you can actually create these. The other things I used, because this little charm here I had in my stash and I don't have enough for our creative day craft project, so I ended up making a little charm myself. So I've used some beads. I have plenty of beads in my stash. So I'll get my charm, and I ended up just creating a little charm like this, which we're going to be using in place of this charm. So same concept. This is a really pretty one, and it really went with the washi, but I don't have 15 or so to go around, so we're going to end up making our own little charm out of just twine and the beads. So the other things you might need to make this at home is just some washi. So I've just got some washi here. Put that there. Also a little bit of ink, so we need a little bit of ink. And even though I've used an embellishment on this and little, I guess this little card, you can just use embellishments as well. So I have a few little things here that I might try and include either inside the little book. And these are all just on my old spare die cuts and things like that. And I'll just decorate it a little bit differently and see what it comes out like. So yeah, that's pretty much all we need. Obviously we need some scissors and glue and a cutter and things like that, and double-sided tape. But yeah, so it's going to be a quick project. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is these little Velcro button things. I can't remember what they're called, but I'll put the link down below. I do have them in the shop. There's just they're just tiny little circles, and they work like Velcro, and that's what I've used with the clasp here to make sure it sticks down. Okay, so yeah, so I'll just clear all this away and we'll start working through the video. Okay, I'm back now. I've cut 3 strips so far. I've just used, I've kept the same width, which is the 12 inches, and just cut them down to, what size is this? Let me just measure it, make sure you've got it in case you want to know the size. It's roughly 3.5 inches. And the other one that I did make, just so you know what that size was, it was 2.5, just over 2.5 by 2.5 inches. So this one's a little bit bigger, and I do want to make a longer one, and I think it'll be really good for sort of goals. So I'll do that after this one. So I'll have 3 to take to the creative day. So yeah, so we're going to cut one more sheet to match this size. And that then we'll be done with our cutting pretty much. Just get that in there. I think this cutter needs a new blade, but we'll see how it cuts. Make sure it's measured. Yep, that's done. Put that away. So I thought this paper was rather cute for the notebook. So I've added, it's got a place where you can write headings and notes as well. So I thought that was rather cute. What we're going to do now is we're going to decide which paper you want as the front. Now we are going to decorate the front, so it doesn't matter too much, but some of the cover will be decorated. So what have we got here? We've got hearts. We're going to make sure the hearts are around the right way, not so upside down. So that would probably look nice on the front, but I think I'm just going to go with this one, the flowery one, and maybe find, you know, the embellishments to go on top. So all we do is we fold it in half, and we're going to cut them in half. So put that back into the camera. I don't know whether it'll go through completely, but we'll see. We just want to cut. And then we're going to fold it in half again. It's not quite lined up. That's okay. I can trim. I'll trim a little bit off, make it line up a bit. That's it. Oh, that didn't quite cut right through. That's the trouble with the blade's not the best. It's not going to cut through. Immediately there is now there's 8 sheets of paper together and makes it a little bit tricky for the cutter to handle. All right, so we've got the paper. This is all single-sided paper too, whereas the other one I used was actually double-sided paper. But if it's going to be a notebook, then I guess it doesn't hurt to have obviously the plain white paper, and you can add little stickers or something to decorate, to make something a bit more interesting on the page before you add notes or journaling or whatever it is you want to add. So I'm going to fold this in half, and that's basically all we're going to do. It's just that's going to be the base of the book. Now I don't really want the heart as the front. I wanted the flower, and I'm just going to make sure both sets of hearts are around the right way, not upside down. Yep, they look good. The other thing you could do, I suppose, is turn some of the papers around. They don't all have to be facing the right way, or the same way, I should say. So let's just turn 2 around. So I might just pick another one and turn that around. Which one will we do? That one. Okay, so yep. So we've still got the flowery front. So let's make sure it's even as you can. If it doesn't quite match up and you've got an overhanging edge, well, you can just basically trim it with some scissors, but this one looks pretty good. Now I do have a tiny attacher. I'm gonna lean over, I have things on the other side of the table. Okay, so I'm back. I had a bit of a problem with the camera, but all is good now. I was going to use a tiny attacher, but I think I'm going to use the bigger stapler, and as it's a little bit stronger than the tiny attacher. So remember the floral is the outside cover, so I want to staple it around the right way. So just remember to do it around the right way. So let's get that back in there. There's one. I think it's a little bit thick for the book, but is that better? Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, but it still went through, so all is good. That's fine. Right, so all I did next, I'm going to get some twine. I have 3 lots of twine here. And this one I use just plain silver, but I'm just going to mix it up a little bit and use some different colours. Going to look for some that actually do match that colour. So I've got blues. Which I'm going to dig out somewhere. Right, so we're just going to I'm just going to get 2 lots of colours. I might mix the silver in it as well. So I don't think I'll use the pink. I might just use silver, and I might go and grab some different colours. Tomorrow at the creative day, I'll probably have more colours with me, but we're just going to use these, what I've got out on my desk at the moment. So we're just going to really just wrap it around. I've got to keep remembering to go into the camera. So we're going to make sure that the tie is going to be in the middle. So we're going to make sure we've got enough to wrap it around a few times and tie it off in the middle. So that's probably not enough there. So keep going, that should be enough. I'm just going to bring it round, and I'm going to take it around the other way as well. So oops, this way. Yep, so that should be enough to tie. Before I tie it off, I'm going to find my little charm, which is here, and just thread that through as well. So I really want the charm to be at the top of the book and sort of hang on the outside. So when you're tying it together, try and make sure that that's how it's So what I might do is pull this, if it will come. That's it. And I'm going to keep pulling until I get enough. Oopsie. Just get that around. Okay. Remember we want the charm at the top. And then I'm just gonna, takes a little bit of maneuvering. And then so I've got enough now to tie it off in the middle. So I'm just going to make sure it's not tangled. It's free to roam. It took a bit getting there, but I got there in the end. Okay. We're going to tie it off. So I need to cut here. Make sure you give yourself enough to tie and don't scrimp, because you can always trim your edges afterwards, or you can just leave it. Add another tassel at the bottom, I suppose. Yep, so I'm just going to hold that a bit tighter and then wrap it around. I find with this twine, it's always a little silver bit that goes astray. So I don't think that quite got it, but try again. Okay, so that's a bit better. It seems to be tight enough. And you just trim off the bits you don't want. So trim off, oops. And trim this bit as well. And if you want, you can trim, I don't know whether I want that. That is the bit that's hanging from the tassel. I think I'll just leave it as is. But you could trim that as well. Right. Make sure it's in the right position. Yeah, so that's the easy bit done. Well, it's a bit fiddly, but we got there. It's fairly straightforward though. It's just a matter of tying it up and getting it in the right position. So the book's done. Now the question is, I guess, the decorating part and the clasp. Now the clasp, all we need for the clasp is some cardstock. And it doesn't matter what colour your cardstock is, really. And you can make it a wide clasp or a narrow clasp, depends on your preference. I mean, I think that colour looks quite nice with the book as it is, but I will probably still decorate it with washi, and I am going to make it a little bit thinner than that because I don't quite like it that thick. So I'm going to trim a bit. I do like the size I made on the other book, so I'm going to stick to that size. So trim the cardstock down. Oh, that didn't cut. Better. I think we need, so what was this one? This measured, I'd say it measured, I'm going to work in centimetres because it's not very big. So it would have been 4 centimetres in length, and what was that? Roughly 2.5 centimetres in width. Right, so I mean, cut it a little bit bigger, and you can always trim it down if it's too big. But so I do like, oops, I put that as away. Yeah, so that's sort of the class. That's what it's going to be. I'm just going to, I probably will need to trim it because it's too long, but I think I'm going to just create that little curve for it to go around the book. And when you think you've got the size that you want and it's straight, you just end up trimming it. I'll trim it here. I'll just open that out and trim it. Okay, so I think that's probably going to be about right. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so we don't need the cutter anymore. I'm going to find some washi that actually blends with the paper, and I'm hopefully going to find one that matches the the paper. So I think because the cover is pretty busy, so you're probably going to find a washi that's not so busy. So I ended up using this washi. It's just a light green. I thought it would blend in with the flowers. And I've just covered the cardstock piece with the strip of washi, and I've actually folded it all the way around, so it's actually on both sides. So that's really just going to be our little clasp. So you get that fold in there again. Once you've got the washi on, if you want a bit of a rounded sort of edge, we can. Right, so that's basically going to be the clasp. So we need now to get these little 3D dots and add them to, so we need one from one side and one from the other, because one's actually the bottom of the Velcro and one's the top. Okay, so these are the finished books. They're just about finished, I think, anyway. So I ended up just adding some die cuts to the front of this little blue one and adding a little sentiment. When I was thinking of a sentiment for this book, Say Cheese wasn't what I had in mind, but I thought it went really well with a little rabbit in the teacups. So that's that one done. I also added a bit of washi on the inside, and this one is obviously a different shape. It's a bit longer. I wanted to write goals in this one, or sort of like things that I wanted to get done this year, like I guess plans and things like that, but I couldn't find like a goal sentiment that would fit, or that I thought would go on the front. So I've just put a little planner sticker called Make All the Plans. And this one has, obviously it's a different shape, but it has a different enclosure as well. It's got twine and a button. So the twine, just got to go around the right way, is just, it's on the back, it's under the washi, and we're just going to wrap it around the button. So I've sewed some twine into the button as well. And yeah, finished it off with some more pink twine on the end. I didn't actually add a charm to this one. I might do that in a bit, but these are all ready to go for tomorrow's creative day. So thanks for watching the video, and you can find those little Velcro buttons online in the shop. Thanks. See you later.